Thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same without wasting a single second of your time. Bada bing, bada boom, we go into the charts. So Bitcoin did not make it above the point of control and saw itself as a ABC to the downside, which we were pointing out to you in terms of the liquidity and the momentum. If it cannot get above certain levels, which it did not. So we're down back at the 236 of this diagonal pitch fan that we've had price action trapped in since January. So let's go ahead and take a look at high block capital. What is high block? Well, it's when people lock their liquidity into the charts to get burnt to a crisp by the market maker for not using a stop loss. And we get to see where those crispy characters lie in wait. So with that little bit of happiness we talked about coming back down to the $185 million pool down at 25,323, they knocked it out and then some all the way down to the 25K region.
Fatality.
And basically pinged in some more shorts up here. So all of the shorts that have entered off of that drop, they could essentially come back into at this point. Hi, what do you want? I can't open it. You gotta ask your mommy. Sorry. Ask your mommy, please. Thank you. All right. So if we go expand our vision to the upside here, to the higher time frame external pools, the 7-day imbalance was reconciled. Let's go ahead and change this to max liquidity. So they came back and grabbed a few billion here, and they still could come lower to the terms of 24.8 on the 7-day time frame. There is a little bit of a pool down there. If we go to the monthly time frame, the monthly double-digit imbalance has been requited up into the 24.9 region. Still a double-digit pool at 24.8, which has yet to be reclaimed. Could you please be quiet, my friend? Thank you. Just a sec. Thank you. All right, so with the slight pull to the downside here, we still have double digits down at 23.5. That coincides with the higher time frame pool, so please look out below. We do have that 3-month and above pool of double digits in the 50 billions on the 3-month. We've reclaimed the 20 billion on that monthly, and if we look at the 6-month, 6 months still has that 183 billion down at 24.3 to reclaim. And if you go to the 2-year, then you can see the entire pool down at 23.6 to the tune of $248 billion. So do we go down to that region? We've been talking about it for gosh knows how long, weeks now it seems. And the entire range we've been here basically. All right, so let's go ahead and see. Basically, if you cannot get that point above that point of control, you're going to reject and go down into this region. So this was a 50% touch on this drop down here, hitting the equilibrium, retrace into the vector and continue. Here again, retrace 50% of the vector and continue to the downside. Fractal within a fractal within a fractal. Here's the same thing, 50% retrace, continue, 50% retrace, continue, 50% retrace, continue. It's just this continuation idea. So if we go to the Binance chart, we were having price action. This was what we were ultimately looking at as a ABC to the downside. Pools down below, we had this highlighted. We didn't see any liquidity highlighted up here. We were waiting for this reclamation down below. Ultimately seeing a stoppage at the 24.909 region at the 706. Do we get the trap door to open or not? If not, then we come back up into some of the liquidity here before dropping possibly lower. Okay, let's throw on the liquidity, not the liquidity, the momentum rather, and look at how things align. Link is in the description for more. momentummaster.info. Scroll down to features, toggle everything at your leisure, or look at each component as they come into prominence. Today's thing that's coming into prominence is the rocket ships here. After false move Monday was false move Monday's move to the downside, only to bounce back up here and stop out some of the shorts before continuing lower. The last time we saw a rocket ship last Wednesday, we did see a stop loss hunt and then only to continue into the vector here. So are we going to get some sort of bounce off the rocket ship idea? We're here for it either way. Getting a oversold region on the 4-hour. Let's go ahead and take a look at the higher time frame narratives here on the daily. Daily getting a vector candle to the downside here. You see this red vector. This means that single candle contains 200% of the previous 10 days candles combined. So we're getting this reset of the stochastic break of the 50 KD lines coming to the downside here on the daily. This also coincides 3-day and 5-day close in a day's time. So basically at the end of today, there will be a reset of the 3-day and the 5-day algorithm. What does that mean in terms of upside or downside potential is anyone's guess. As we see these rejection of on the 22-hour time frame, we're seeing the rejection of the cloud, bearish retest, continuation, talking about how you cannot, unless you can get above this level, then this is a bearish retest idea. Let's see how the clouds are holding up on the daily. Daily clouds, or not the daily clouds, daily baselines are, unless you can get above this 25,342 region, starting to slate to a potential cross down event within this range, which means you could be coming sharply down into this nether region. If you look at the clouds here too, slowly breaking down, there is no curvature to insinuate a reversal just yet on the daily time frame. If we look at the 12-hour here, 12-hour getting a cross down event as of the last drop back last Monday. So the cross down event negated this cross up, and you're also getting this flat like nature to the cloud, insinuating that you could be bearishly retesting and continuing to the downside. Money flow was above the RSI here, suggesting that you could come down as well. The rising sun events were lackluster at best, and if we look at the 6-hour, could not make it above the cloud at all during the course of yesterday, suggesting that this was a expansion to the downside, which it was. And now we're getting to that point where the 6-hour is getting oversold alongside the 12-hour and the 4-hour. Money flow and RSI in a position here with the Williams on the 4-hour, getting 2 4-hour candles with rocket ships, not only 1 but 3 4-hour candles with rocket ships, insinuating you could get some sort of burst up into this region to retrace some of the liquidity on the minute time frame here. Some pools to look at: 100x pool at $169 million at 25,618. 25,618 would put you up in this region here to reclaim that pool up there. Do we start to make a little bit of a bounce into that region? It would be about 2.5% bounce up in that region. If we look up in the hourly time frame, hourly also starting to round out here. You're getting this Cinderella slipper looking double bottom on the Williams. The money flow beneath the RSI here, stochastic starting to come up as well, starting to get the potential of a cross up event on the hourly time frame. So you could be seeing an hourly cross on the baselines. What does that mean? Well, you can read about it. First sign of reversal, one of the few leading moving average formulas you will find on the market. If we go to the 15-minute, getting some bullish divergence from back here. Basically, I was asleep, 445. You'd be getting this rising sun event, which started to play out on the 15-minute time frame. Getting that double bottom goodness. Starting to see the cloud wane here. So you just got to take each moment fresh for what it is. So can you get above this cloud and give some conviction above the cloud, get rejected off the bearish super trend, come back and retest and continue, or not. So looking for that shift in the cloud structure. Can that cloud start to shift you in a manner where you start to see the thinning? The angle is not to my liking just yet, but you are getting that thinning of the cloud, but no conviction to break above it just yet on the 15. If you go to the 5, you'll see the fractal-like nature of everything that already occurred. You broke above it, you came above it, you retested the cloud, you pushed up above it here. So had you had Momentum Master in your possession, you would have been able to take the dynamic alerts that come to your phone to the upside here on the 4s and the 5s and maintain your position from that alert of the rocket ships. So you see how these lock in on, these are candle close specific formula. So when all of the time frames are in this state, it closes candles in this way, which expresses the elasticity of that rubber band being outstretched as far as it can go across a bunch of 5-minute candles here. And then when you go to the 15, you see that that outstretched elasticity has expanded to the 15, and if you see that outstretched elasticity expanding to the hourly, and you see that outstretched elasticity expanding to the 4-hour, you're seeing that that potential to play out gets higher. Okay, so are these guaranteed? No, but they're pretty spot on from what I've seen in the back testing of this, barring some manipulation of some sell-off by some entities that have billions of dollars for the most part. So if we go back in time, well, I mean, you could basically watch the walkthrough. There was these back here in December and November, basically what the schematic was based on. So the schematic is from Bitcoin's bottom at 15K, basically back in here at its ultimate bottom is where we took the price schematic from. And they gave you multiple rocket ship opportunities for that swing play. There was even one that flashed here at 25K, or sorry, not 19K, it was over at 25K here. So when the larger term time frames and everything get in alignment, you get to see these things lock in. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Once again, it does not mean it's immediate. So these things basically, like here for example, there was one that locked in, and then you had a bunch of stop loss hunting and went lower for the course after that appeared for basically 12 days before it started to peel out, and even then you came back down again, and it took you a good consolidation range to break out of that consolidation range. Took you a good 60 days from the first rocket ship appearing. And to go back to where they were negated, here's one where it started to play down, but you would have gotten above break even. This was back in August of 2022. May, you had some that played out for a cool percentile here, 14%. And here, oops, back in June, you had this Luna liquidation event in 2022, which caused the manipulation for them to drop lower here. And I remember that very well. But then you had more likely ones that happened back in March of 2022, which this was the immediate play out. So if you have Momentum Master, I suggest you back test this thing when it locks in on like a 6-hour time frame or a 4-hour time frame. The likelihood of something is not absurd to think. Okay, there are a few duds here and there, so you always need to cover your bases. And we do have one locked in on the 6 hour from back here. So these are swing play kind of ideas to think about. Once we clear the liquidity, I'd like to see that stab to the external liquidity range down here for me to be sold 100% on the idea. But that's what you're getting right now anyway. So about to get the cross up on the hourly time frame. Do we see this cross up event in the next 30 minutes lock in? When the cross up occurs, you can get meandering around, but for the most part you take it for what it's worth, stop into profit, see what it gives in terms of price holding above the baselines, use the baselines for support, and see what it gives. And then you go to the lower time frames and see how that is cascading on the clouds and whatnot. So we're waiting for this type of 15-minute cloud idea. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bit of a retrace into this short pool as everyone's bearish sentiment continues and some people refuse to pay themselves. So those people who refuse to pay themselves will pay the price and pay the piper upwards in this region to that 25,618 pool. We'll see if it goes to that region. You have the bearish super trend to reject off of and see what it does at the bearish super trend, which has held since Monday and on the 15th. If you go to the hourly, we'd also have the bearish super trend also being the cloud on the hourly time frame. This was also something that could have helped you to gauge. We were saying that if you cannot get above the super trend on the hourly, which we did not, then this was basically a short-lived pump, which it was, and we never got above that super trend, and boom, to the downside. So once again, even if you make it up to this region and reject off this super trend, the same could be said again where you start to make it back down into that region and give it all back. So either way, we're going to just play it by ear, wait for the cross-up event of the hourly, see how it goes, see if the retrace into some of this vector candle is what it's calling for on this Tuesday. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, short but sweet. Let's go ahead and look at the Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance did go up. USDT dominance went up. We were talking about coming up into this region here. It exceeded the expectation of coming up to the 8.37, came all the way up to the 8.52. This means people getting kicked out of their trades, which is why we were insinuating more downside. Total breaking down off of the 786, heading towards that one region. Also getting the rocket ships on total. The last time we saw rocket ships on total was back in December. Down here, we have the timestamp to prove it, but it was basically back in this region. Weird, can't do a bar replay on that. Okay. But it was on the 29th of December. I remember seeing it on the 3-minute and posting it to a bearish group that was calling for 15K or something. So we're getting the same thing off of total. If we look at the DXY dumping, retracing as it's meant to, did not push up into those liquidity ranges. And NQ saw a little bit of a surge yesterday. You can watch the stream highlights for that. There's a nuke that played out on the live stream. You can check that out. Into the open, there is a nuke that was appearing up here into the open as it dumped down. Interesting. our theory held despite us entering too prematurely and getting stopped out, but it did come to that region. Seeing that 618 bounce off that impulse retrace continuation, we took that off stream. And on that note, ladies and gents, we're once again waiting for this cloud reclamation on the 15-minute. Can we see this conviction slash rejection off the bearish super trend, and then reclamation of the cloud and continuation idea into the cascading 4-hour slash 6-hour subtle support slash liquidity pool up of 100 Xers up in the tune of the 25,618 region. We're here for it, and we'll keep you posted. On that note, thank you for coming on into the live and sharing your essence with me in this eternal moment of which we all share an inextricable and inexorable part. Thank you for doing your part, for coming on in each and every day, and we'll do the same, bringing the fire, the accuracy, the precision, all that fun stuff, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.